least this picture shows, the last time we were there, they were full of weeds with all the white rock in. My recommendation is that we've got a month and a half to utilize Kenny, where there's really not much for him to do. We rent a Bobcat. We get rid of all the white rock in there. We get a ground cover, not plastic, but a weed barrier, 4 inches down, and fill it up with cedar rock. It's a red rock. I feel like with the new paint scheme, it would match that. The 70s, the white rock is a 1970s look. Get rid of it, put in some red cedar rock, and then I'd recommend the curbs are white. I would recommend painting the curbs the same color as the building. So we've got red cedar rock matching the building, and we've got the paint scheme coming out to the curb. That should take him no more than 1 week. With the Bobcat, it should take 3 to 4 days to get all the rock out of there. We utilize the dumpster that they have for their project, dump all the rocks in there. Again, put the cover down, 4 inches down, put the cedar rock. I can get into deeper details later on the cedar rock and getting it before January 1st. Putting it down, painting that, and we're good with that. Secondly, the pool deck. This next picture is going to show how horrendous that looks. My recommendation would be to keep the palm trees in there and keep the smaller palm trees or succulents, whatever they are. I think there might be a few succulents. And to rip everything else out. Rip out all the...
You're talking about the planters by the sun deck.
I'm talking about the planters by the sun deck, right
Okay.
before you walk down the steps.
Okay.
There's a picture, Sherry, so they just saw it. They've got daisies. Yank everything out. My recommendation, there would be, even though they're doing the project right now, there'd be no problem for Kenny to rip everything out of there, go 4 inches deep, put 4 inches of topsoil in, prune back all the palm trees, the 3-4 foot ones, down to nothing, fertilize the area. The palm trees will come back and look healthy. I've analyzed them already if we just trim them back to nothing, but rip everything else out of there. Spray the bricks that are in there or the rocks that are in there that look like crap with pool chlorine. Next recommendation is to get Kenny a 5-gallon backpack sprayer so he can spray mold on the pavers with pool chlorine. But let's backtrack to these rocks. Spray them with pool chlorine, wash them off, clean them up, make it look nice, and then cover it with plastic. Leave it until they're done with their project. We don't want to put any plants in right now, but we want to prep the area, getting everything else out, putting a ground cover down underneath, 4 inches down, 4 inches of topsoil, prune back the succulents and the palms, and then wait till they're out of there, and then we'll plant whatever perennials we're going to plant in there. So we've got the front things taken care of, we've got the back taken care of. There's those 2 other beds in the grass that look like total crap. Clean them out too. They're not in the way of anything now where they can't be cleaned out right now. And the same thing that I mentioned with the other 2 things done with them. Next,
There's also the weeds that that's just ridiculous.
we'll get to the weeds in a second, Chef. Let's get to the front now. The last time we were there, all the shrubs in the front of the building were burned because they put a tarp down, a plastic tarp that burnt them. Those shrubs are starting to look leggy. They look like crap. They're not fertilized properly. While we have the Bobcat, my recommendation is for Kenny to yank all those shrubs out in the front. I haven't seen the ones on the side, but I'm assuming they look just as crappy, dated and aged now as what's in the front. Obviously, we can't plant new stuff until they're done with the project, but we can get in there with a Bobcat, rip out the root system of all the shrubs that are in there, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Rip out all the shrubs, go down 4 inches, scrape everything out, put 4 inches of topsoil in, and again, cover it. Cover it with plastic.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
And you want a weed barrier down before the topsoil in all of the areas? Or?
Yep, so we're gonna go with a weed barrier there too. We're gonna go with a weed barrier. So now here's the master plan. The master plan is to replace those shrubs with portacopis. I can give you prices on them later, but they're totally bulletproof. They stay green 12 months out of the year. They're not affected by too much water, not enough sunlight, too much sunlight, fungus, bacteria, nothing. They're perfect. They're bulletproof. We have those 4-foot high walls in the front, in front of the shrubs. My recommendation is we've got like 10-foot sections, and then we have openings, and then another section, and then another opening. I recommend that we just replace shrubs where the openings are so people can't walk through, but where the wall is, it's obviously going to be painted. It's going to look brand new. We put perennials there to give it some color, so it's not just a row of shrubs, but we've got shrubs blocking areas where people can't cut through, but then we put perennials in there. That'll give it some color. I recommend that we rip everything out and prep the area in the front and on both sides for when the people get out of there. Last but not least, with this whole project, I recommend that after they're out, we're going to have a short window to get this done before the renters come in. So I recommend that we purchase some day laborers. People do this in Tampa all the time. We get 6 or 7 Mexican day laborers for a Saturday and a Sunday. We have all the plants ready to roll, the perennials, the shrubs that are going in there, and they bang it out in 2 days, plant all the shrubs, and we're good to go. It's looking great by the time the rent is going January 1st. The plants on the inside of the property, the courtyard, I don't know what they look like, to be honest. Here's a picture right here of a sick looking palm tree. I recommend we just throw that and the planter out. We buy a new planter and a new palm tree that looks nice. We fertilize it. That's got to go. But the courtyard, I don't know what it looks like. We haven't been there in 2 months. If it looks like crap, I recommend doing the same thing that we're doing on the front and on the sides to the courtyard. If the courtyard doesn't look that bad and the shrubs haven't been wrecked, then my recommendation is we hold off on that until after the renters are all gone, and then sometime in May we have a volunteer day. There's going to be too short of a window to do this between Christmas and New Year's with the renters coming. But in May we could have a volunteer day. Rent a bobcat, rip out whatever needs to get ripped out in the courtyard, have the plants already purchased, have the shrubs already purchased, and do the courtyard too.
But you do have to do the pavers before.
Oh, last but not least, the pavers. I know they're working on everything right now, and we don't want to do a finished job, but before the renters come in January, we need to A, spray the mold off the pavers. Kenny will have a 5-gallon backpack sprayer that we're going to purchase. He buys pool chlorine, puts it in there, and he bleaches the pavers, gets all the mold out of there. After they're allowed to dry, and this can be a 3-day,
and then you spray it with water.
After a 3-day process, it's a 3-day process. Day 1, you bleach them, pressure wash. Day 2, we get polymeric sand. He brooms in the polymeric sand, and then we mist it in, and then on day 3, he gets a sealer and seals them. Then we're good with the pavers. We don't have to worry about that for a few years.
And then they won't be loose anymore.
They won't be loose anymore. They won't look like crap. So we can get all this done before the renters get in. It's not as hard as you think. If you guys have any questions, I'll be at work tomorrow. You can call me on my cell at 813-454-5514. If I can talk, I can talk. If I can't, I can't. But these are my ideas. Hopefully we can utilize Kenny for the next month and a half to get most of this done. We can get some day laborers, have them come in and finish everything off before the renters come in. Any questions, give me a buzz. I've been really busy lately, but I'm going to show you the pictures of what needs to be taken care of. But down the line, I can draw up some sketches or take some pictures of perennials, what it would look like down the line. So, signing off from Tampa. Good luck with the meeting tomorrow, guys.